Welcome to the Fight Night Daily podcast here from Riad season. It is the beginning of the Riad season. We're here, I'm Gareth today with Spencer Oliver. We're in the heart of downtown Riad by Boulevard City. The music you can hear is by our very own
Majestic
DJ Majestic. We've just had the last four guys in the ring here at the Fighter Workout. It's day 2 of the set pieces. Grand arrivals were here yesterday. We spoke to all the guys and girls coming through, and there are guys and girls on this card. Fabio Wardley's getting in the ring now. We've just had Fraser Clark, Beterbiev and Bivol, Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol to come. Great to be here again, Spencer Oliver.
Absolutely. Listen, we're talking about Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol and the rest of the card in a minute, but let's kick it off with a British heavyweight title fight. Fraser Clark, Fabio Wardley. Last boxed in March, split decision draw. A lot of controversy surrounding that one. This is where I'm at, Gareth. I think they take off from where they left off. This is not when the bell goes round 1. I believe it's round 13. That's the way I see it.
Well, I can't hear you, so I'm in quite a good mood tonight. No, I'm just kidding, I can hear every word you're saying. For me, let's begin as we mean to go on this week. A year ago we were here at Riad season. Francis Ngannou shocked the world against Tyson Fury. The world of boxing's changed in the last year. 7 big cards put together by Riad season, 1 in LA, 1 in London, which we'll talk about because we're still talking about the fallout of Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois. We've got local fighters on this card. We're going to get going before we get into Fraser Clark and Fabio Wardley with Alakel, Mohamed Alakel and Joe Gallagher, who are going to come in here and join us. I'm going to throw the first question to Mohamed Alakel. He's here at home.
Alakil.
Yes, what does it feel like to be on this massive card in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, it means a lot, you know, my home country, and yeah, it means a lot. I've been working really hard with Joe, and it means a lot to be part of this.
It's a special, historic moment.
Yes.
We speak to Zayed all the time, and he seems to be the only boxer who's professional in Saudi Arabia, but there are many more of you to come, yeah?
Yes, 100%. I want to inspire more up-and-comers, hopefully.
Yeah, you're now the second registered professional boxer. And Joe Gallagher, you work out at the Mike Tyson Boxing Club. We were speaking earlier on actually, and you were telling me about the amount of talent, the amount of interest there is in Saudi Arabia now with boxing, with it all happening here, Riyadh season, all the big fights that we're getting. It's just, you know, the boxing gym is filling up all the time and there's so much talent in the area.
No, there is at the moment. The Saudi Games are on at the moment, just round the corner. The Mike Tyson gym, I've got, I think, 6 or 7 kids in the finals. Today it's the semi-finals. Mo's one of these now that's beginning to come through. Is inspiring the next lot. And I've spoken to Frank Warren before, in 2 or 3 years' time, the talent that's here at age 17 to 18 is very good. And they're not amateur boxing. One kid's had 9 fights, won 9, knocked 8 out. So excited. One's called Cotto, really exciting kid. And I can't wait for these kids to have their moment in a couple of years, turn professional. But listen, it's down to His Excellency Riyadh season. Because over here at the time in Riyadh, you and Gareth know, it's all about UFC and MMA and all that. Boxing wasn't, but thanks to Turkey and everyone else now, like I say, Mo's making his professional debut in here. It won't be long before the undercards will be full of Saudi fighters.
Let's get together and feel all right, one love. What made you want to take up boxing?
I mean, as my dad took me to a boxing gym when I was 10 and I kind of fell in love with the sport.
Why?
I just liked it. I'm a competitive person and I just liked it.
Joe, how can you, because you've got a massive role here in Saudi Arabia, it was very quiet for a long time, you came and worked with them behind the scenes. Do you believe they can become a world force in boxing, amateur, Olympics and professional?
It's very hard in the Olympics because the qualifying area here, you're up against Uzbekistan, China, Russia, so it's very hard. What we've done at the Mike Tyson gym, we've employed Ukrainian coaches to help train that style for the fighters to be like that, to help qualify. We look at the last Olympics, that's where all the medals went. So yeah, they've got all potential, there's an appetite, having big nights, big events like this. There's some kids here tonight that sat there inspiring to be here, to be like Mo, and seeing Mo in here knows that they go, wow, if Mo can be on it, it's an opportunity for us.
Final one for Mo.
Yeah.
Mo, you're against Gonzalez, obviously who's a Latin American. Are you going to fight like a Latin American tomorrow on Saturday night?
No, I'll fight how like Joe wants me to fight like.
Which is what?
That's
Mayweather.
Joe.
Listen, can I just wrap this one up with Mo? Because I just wanted to ask him this one thing. How big boxing has become here in Saudi Arabia. What does that mean to you making your professional debut on a card of this magnitude? I mean, that doesn't come around very often for young fighters coming through, trust me.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like very lucky and fortunate to be part of this event, you know.
Brilliant. Are you going to perform?
Yes, 100%.
Good man. We're looking forward to following your journey.
Stay there, Joe. Okay. Mo, we're going to switch you for Mr. Massey.
Mr. Macy's in the building. Go on, Mo. The good thing about this, Gareth, 2 seconds, I'll just say, the good thing as one's coming in, what the dynamics here, you've got a kid making his debut, aspiring to challenge for a world title, and his stablemate is fighting one of the most feared people in the division for a world title. So you've got him at both spectrums. What a story.
It is a story.
He's the most calmest man in the camp this week, the most funniest man as well.
And we've got the modern day Cinderella man right here. I mean, you go back a couple of years working on the scaffold, trying to support the family. The call goes, Joseph Parker, yeah, I take it. You know, there's no fights coming around, and you took it, and that fight, even though you lost, moulded you as a fighter and elevated you to another level, and you've gone from strength to strength, my friend. You've upset the apple cart every single time, and you're going to go and try and do it again on Saturday night.
Absolutely, you know, it's all been big fights since then. It's, you know, I was on my arse, you know, before that fight, and you know, I was on the scaffolding site, labouring for my brother, and it was probably the worst year of my life. I thought my boxing's done. You know, I'm not going to get any opportunities. You know, it's just outside of boxing as well. It's the worst year of my life.
Did you get a call when you was on site?
I was on site, yeah.
Did you leave straight away, or did you finish the day?
It was snowing. I got the phone call and told my brother, and he said, I won't say what he said, but.
No, listen, Spencer, he didn't finish the day. He was caught napping and he was fired, mate.
Let me just ask you.
I wanted him to tell me that.
In all seriousness, on Saturday night, you know, I've said to you, please enjoy it, and you're every time I run into you, you're really enjoying the week for one.
Yeah.
You're a big underdog in this fight.
Absolutely,
with everyone, and we all get things wrong. Many of us can. You are the man in the moment who can change the course of your life on Saturday night.
It's in my hands.
How do you do that against this guy, Jaya Pataya?
Well, I've got a big game plan to have a shower before I get in the fight.
Oh, very good.
I love that.
But in all seriousness, we saw Maris Bradis stretch him in rounds 10, 11 and 12 in his last fight here.
Listen, I've just got to be myself and put everything in, you know, all the hard work. You know, everything I've been doing since the age of 11 years old, since I started boxing, that's why I do it for times like these, and that's what it's all about.
Can we ask you about that as well?
You like being the underdog as well,
I
don't
love
you?
being the underdog.
You feed off being the underdog.
I love it.
Yeah.
Obviously, without giving the game plan away, Joe, can you elaborate on what Jack's saying?
Listen, Jai off the tie, let's say with third puncher. When he broke out of the British scene, when you seen him beat Jordan Thompson, then he beat Zorro. Would Jack Massey have beat them? Yes, he would. So when you look away for Bradis and went back to Bradis, was there a big improvement? I feel second time round, he was brought back down to earth. If he's gone away to come back and be better, well, remains to be seen. But if he's taking Jack Massey lightly, as I like to go and Jack Massey lightly, then he's got to be in for a big shot. We can only go in and be in control of what we can be in control of. And what we've got to do is get him into a fight that suits us, and we won't be surprised. I'm sure everyone else will be out there, but we've just got to go in there. Like I said, Jack, just do your best. That's all anyone asks you to do.
And when do you shower before the event?
Gareth, stop it. Let's not go there. Come on.
Brilliant. Best of luck. We'll see you in the week anyway. Thank you, Joe.
Cheers, thank you, Gareth. Good to see you again, my friend. Cheers, thank you.
Best of luck, bro. Best of luck. Love that.
Cheers, Jack.
Yeah, great seeing you.
Jack Massey there is obviously facing Jai Opataya on Saturday night. Very quickly, he can do extraordinary things, Jack Massey. We've seen it. Is there a chance of an upset?
Listen, there's always a chance of it. You look through boxing, it's steeped with upsets, steeped with the huge underdog, and that's what he is. Huge underdog, you know, pulling off the shock victories. They've seen something in Jai Opataya that they think that they can exploit. You know, they think that once he gets past that round 6, he starts losing faith a little bit himself, and that's when Jack Massey will kick on. One thing we do know about Jack Massey is he's tough. teak stuff. We've seen him up at heavyweight and going in with Joseph Parker and going through those rounds. So he could be there for a few rounds. It's going to be an interesting one. I love his story, you know. I love his story, and I love that motivates him. You know, what he's done, and he said to me, Spence, make no bones about this, mate. I have not just come here with a paycheck. I've got this far, and I'm not going to fall at the final hurdle.
We're going to do our picks later in the week, obviously. We're doing the daily podcast from here. We'll do picks as the week goes on. Artur Beterbiev now making his way to the ring.
Man, a few words.
Man, a few words. So is Bivol, the irresistible force against the immovable object in this fight. Who do you make? Because the bookies have gone back and forth. Is it the 20 knockouts from 20 wins undefeated? Or is it the boxing skills of Bivol? Who is it, Beterbiev or Bivol, who ought to be the favourite for
Now,
you?
I've been jumping one way and another, even since we've been here, getting
But
in this week,
instinctively.
getting up close. Let me break this down. This is how it is. You know, when you get these undisputed fights, they don't come around very often. Actually, the last undisputed light heavyweight champion was Roy Jones over 20 years ago.
Oh, and that wasn't we haven't had one in the four belt era.
That's what I'm saying. So you go over 20 years ago. Right, that's how often they come around. And when you know you've got an absolute barnstormer, is when we've all got an opinion, but none of us really know. Until that bell rings, will the monster Artur Beterbiev, will he be able to close that gap? Will he be able to work with those big bombs? Or will Dmitry Bivol be able to do what he done against Canelo Alvarez and control that space, work in and out?
Yeah, no, but you're breaking down the fight. Tell me who should be favourite.
No.
Can you do it?
I think Dmitry...
It's very difficult.
You can't call that because
that's what I mean, yeah.
They're both good in with their own strengths. Who should be favourite? I think they both earned the right to be favourite. Really, it's a go in there, 50-50 fight, and that's not sitting on the fence. That's not getting splinters. We got two of the best light heavyweights in boxing history, not just right now.
Oh, it's arguably one of the greatest matchups in boxing that you could create. Even beyond heavyweights,
I mean,
as well.
I totally agree.
So, is there an element here of, could this happen? When the fight plays out, could we go, oh yeah, I should have seen that, or I should have seen that coming, that the boxing of Bivol is too good, or the swarming attacks of Beterbiev are too good? Here's my answer to it.
You go and then I'm going to come in on it.
I've rewatched Canelo against Bivol recently, and Canelo wants to attack. Yes, it's mainly single or three-punch combinations. Beterbiev likes to get himself into position to throw 6 or 7 punches, often on the ropes. But the way that Bivol handled Canelo, who ran out of ideas against him, makes me think from distance that Bivol will be able to handle Beterbiev.
Well, here's my answer to that and my take on that. Canelo really was a welterweight coming up. Beterbiev has been a lifelong light heavyweight, even gone up to heavyweight as an amateur. And he's not just strong, he's freakishly strong. And that's the difference between this, that we're going up with Beterbiev, who's got a good boxing IQ as well. He's not just a monster, but we go there, and I look at that and I go, if he can close that space and keep that, applying that pressure, this is how I see the fight going. Dmitry Bivol starts very well, he's controlling that space, he's nicking the shots, but he's using a lot of energy by doing that. He's spending a lot of energy, and Beterbiev, who never gives up faith, never loses heart, slowly closes the gap, slowly gets to him, and gets to him maybe late on in the fight. That's how I'm reading it right now.
But he might completely outbox Beterbiev. That's what I mean. It could go so. He might even stop Beterbiev because he's 39.
Yeah.
He might age overnight.
Well,
he is in the ring, by the way. He is in the ring right behind us right now, by the way. Going through things. He's doing the Vasyl Lomachenko right now with the tennis ball.
And another thing that we must mention as well, and this could play a part, at 39 years of age, he lives, eats, sleeps boxing, he's clean. That's why he's still going as well as he is right now. But what I'm saying is the niggles start creeping in. His last fight was cancelled through knee injury. You don't know how training camp's gone. Is it the last wear and tear he's now getting to at this sort of late age of at this late stage of his career? We've seen no signs of that, but what I'm saying is there's all this ifs, buts and maybes going in surrounding this fight as well.
I think Beterbiev might want to outbox him as well. People say he can't win the rounds, but I think he can win the rounds. The great thing about this fight is that without Riad season and without Saudi Arabian investment, and His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh. They would not be getting the money they're getting, the money they deserve on the platform they deserve. We waited for it for 3 years already, and it should have been doable. But it's here.
This is what are we talking about when you're talking about Riad season, and you know the fans getting what they want now. Where you're getting the best fighting the best.
Yeah.
This fight is a classic example of a fight that would never have happened anywhere in the globe, and the guys would have probably been too proud with the money that was on the table to go in against each other. But we're finally getting to see it, creating modern era's legacies, and that's down to Riad season. That is a fact, by the way.
The man from Dagestan is going to carry on behind us. Earlier on, our very own Spencer Oliver caught up with Ben Shalom. Have a little look at this.
Well, pleased to be joined by Ben Shalom here at the Open Workouts. Beterbiev versus Bivol. What a fight, by the way, that is, Ben. Can't wait for that one. But I just want to, just before we get into that, I want to talk about your fighter that's just got in the ring, Chris Eubank Jr. Kamal Zerameta. Tell us a little bit about the fight and what the plans are.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on Chris after what happened, and there always is. There's always a lot of attention. There's always a lot of naysayers. There's always a lot of people saying, when's he going to win a world title? Well, he's back now, and he's got to put on a statement against Saturday night. Zerameta's been training for a long time for this fight. Of course, Chris needs to and will come through this, but I wanted to come through in style, and it sets up for some huge nights.
Well, you put a tough opponent in front of him in Zerameta, but I've got to talk about these Saudi cards. They're getting bigger, better all the time. The open workouts here have been absolutely sensational again tonight. But Chris Eubank Jr. has added a little something to it as well. He's been the star of this, really.
I think that's what he does. I think he's a star. We don't have many real stars in British boxing, particularly outside that heavyweight division. He's certainly one, and we need to celebrate him while he's here, but he needs to now be in the big fights that everyone wants him to see. But wherever he goes, the cameras follow. Wherever he goes, the numbers follow. Whether you like him or hate him, that is a fact. And,
right.
Yeah, he's added a lot to this.
Listen, come on, look, Ben Shalom, I've got to put you on it here. We want to know, when's he, I know this is the IBO middleweight title on the line, but when's he going to be in there for this world title? You know, the public are asking for it, we're calling for it. When are we going to get that big fight? Or is it even Hamza Shiraz after this?
No, I think he said what he wants. If it's not Canelo, if it's not Conor Ben next, then he has to fight for a world title. It has to be, and I've said to him, and he knows, it's a big fight next. If the Canelo fight comes, then that'll be a number one on the list. If the Conor Ben fight's available, then it's such a big fight in boxing to ignore. If they're not next, they'll be fighting for a world title next. And I believe, like, Chris has always fallen in and out of love with the sport, always throughout his career, and he's never really been consistent. He's in such a good headspace now. He's so hungry, he's so mature in his life. He's ready to prove everyone wrong. And yeah, I expect we'll see a career best performance on Saturday, and then we can get into the world title.
Listen, we've got to talk about the British heavyweight title fight as well. Fraser Clark, Fabio Wardley, the return. That one in March was go down in history as one of the best British heavyweight title fights in history. Split decision draw. And I reckon, this is where I'm at with it, right? I reckon round 12 or round 1 will be round 13. Ding ding, they'll take off from where they left off.
I hope not.
I think they will.
I hope not. I hope Fraser now steps up a level. I think he's got the ability to. I think he's got the talent to. But now he's got the experience to. That first fight was the first real fight he'd had in professional boxing terms. That gave him about 3 or 4 fights worth of experience. He's got levels. I don't think Fabio has the same levels as Fraser Clark. I want to see that on Saturday night. I don't want to see what I saw last time.
Little adjustments.
Just a few changes. I believe he won the first fight. I believe he got unlucky, obviously, the points taken off and whatnot, and he had to do a lot. But I'm hoping on Saturday night he really, he's got the confidence now, he's got the experience now, let his talent do the talking.
Majestic's playing these bangers at the moment, mate. I feel like I'm in Ibiza, not Saudi Arabia. It's absolutely unbelievable.
I think I was next to him on the plane, actually.
He's in here, mate. He told me he was gonna go big. He told me he was gonna go big. Listen, I want to ask you about this beautiful, for the fight fans anyway, this beautiful match made in heaven. All the promoters working together, all the networks working together, giving us the fights we want to see. What's it like for you working with these guys?
To be honest, as a boxing fan, I can't quite believe it. Last week I'm in LA with De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins making an undisputed to see who's got the best cruiserweight.
Pinch yourself moment.
Now I'm back here to see the fight BeterbievBivol that I never thought I'd see, never thought I'd be here as a fan. On top of that, I've got Wardley Clark for me the fight of the year on the same card. I've got Eubank and Ben Whittaker, the two British superstars, without a doubt, outside the heavyweight division on the same card. We've got Jack Massey going in with Artur Beterbiev to go and win a world title and separate unification. It's pinch yourself moments. I mean, not just for me, but for the whole of boxing.
We're just talking about Jack Massey there going in for against Artur Beterbiev, and what an opportunity that is. I mean, huge opportunity.
Yeah, huge opportunity fighting for the world title, one of the most feared fighters in world boxing at the moment. When the phone call come, no hesitation, taking that fight. And listen, we're only moments away now for the public workout, but Jack's in good shape and it's a huge opportunity. Had a good 12-round win over Chamberlain. Put him in a good position now for this fight tonight.
He's become the modern day Cinderella man, isn't he? I mean, every time he's been put in there, up against it, he's delivered.
Yeah, he was. Listen, I think that's the DNA for the gymnasium. Beginning of the year, Natasha Jonas was the underdog. Then we ended up Lawrence Okole, he was the underdog. Then we went Jack Massey Chamberlain, he was the underdog. And here we are now in Riad with Jack Massey again and the underdog. But that's what we like, Spencer.
Come on, Joe, tell us how it's going to go then, mate. Give us the prediction.
I don't make no prediction. Once the stool.
Just a win?
Oh, we'll win.
You're just going to keep it to yourself how you do that?
Pardon?
You're just going to keep that one to yourself?
It's got to be a very high fight. It's concentration level's got to be very high. Spencer, when people tell you and a trainer tells you this is how your fight has got to be, they're lying really, because this is the first time Jack Massey's been on Broadway. Look at it, look at the event, look at the people that's here, and you don't know whether they've got a choke or shine. So I can't say he's got to do this. Yeah, no, it did do, but it wasn't the stage this is it? We've seen AJ, some would say froze on the biggest stage, so we don't really know. We can't be rabbit in the headlights like Callum Thompson or Zorro, and I don't think it will be. As long as we get through them first 3 or 4 rounds, we're in a fight.
Brilliant, Joe. Well, best of luck, mate. You go and get on with it, mate. Thanks so much, mate. Brilliant.
Hi, Ben. Good to see you. At last.
Hey! Well, it's good speaking to him, to be fair. They're super up for it. Listen, it's all about opportunity. And Jack Massey has delivered every time, but it's a tough call against Artur Beterbiev. He's the monster, man.
You're not going to have a better man in his corner.
I totally agree with that.
And he's ready, and well, they've done the work. And I mentioned the Joseph Parker fight here. He's taken less from that, but that was on a pay-per-view card. He's gone up to heavyweight. I remember seeing them stand next to each other, thinking, "Bloody hell!
Yeah.
This is a tall order. He must be nervous." Didn't show any nerves. Went through the full rounds and put on a great performance against a huge guy. He's ready for this.
Right, listen, mate. Have you got any work to do or what? I mean, standing here chatting with me, chatting away. Are you gonna go and do anything? Or are you just gonna be dancing to Majestic? What's going on?
The Riad season cards, you turn up. You could enjoy the boxing. It's like being on furlough.
You look like you're ready to go out partying, mate. Brilliant. Thanks so much, Ben. Cheers, mate.
Fascinating stuff there with you and Ben Shalom. You obviously know him very well. You're very involved with Boxer and what they do. For me, I love that. Chris Eubank Jr. after this fight, which everyone's looking at as a gimme, and I think he needs to go hard. We'll come to that in a minute. You and Ben talked about Conor Ben next or a world title fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I just said to him, what's the trajectory? Where is he going there? I know this is the IBO middleweight title, but that's a lesser recognised title on the line, and people, they're going, come on, Chris, we want to see you in the fight. You're talking the talk, we want to see you now walk the walk. And Ben was saying, look, if it ain't Conor Ben, it's definitely a world title next. That's where we're going, So they're hanging around still for that Conor fight, Is it a fight that the public want to see? Is it a fight? I'm sure they will because of the history of the families. But we really want to see Chris Eubank Jr. fulfilling what he set out to do and go and win a legitimate world title, So they loved him out here, by the way, in Saudi.
Right, I've got to say, let's come to that. He wore the traditional Saudi dress tonight and looked amazing in it. He did it in the cassock, if I call it that, the thwab. He couldn't move his feet very much apart, which was funny. But as he said, I wore it because I think I look magnificent in it. But he's a showman, isn't he?
He really is.
But again, what we need, we can say that he's box office and being a showman, but he needs to be a showman with his fists and his feet on Saturday night and not do 12 or 10 rounds or whatever it is.
Ceremon's very tough though.
He is.
I agree with you. He's got to go in there. He's got to
make a statement.
There you go.
Snap.
There you go. You have great minds and all that.
So, Dmitry Bivol is now behind us with this. That what's playing is this brilliant Game of Thrones 5-minute long interlude where they bring in the two men. They've dressed them up like Game of Thrones. It really is Game of Thrones. 4 crowns. It's an amazing fight. To bring it back to this fight, we'll talk about Fraser Clark and Fabio Wardley in a minute. For me, it's so brilliant that they've got this platform to have this fight, because they're both based in America. They're both from the Russian steppes. One's a Korean Kyrgyzstani and the other's a Dagestani. It's almost like several countries apart.
It's the biggest fight in boxing, without a doubt. Anyone that knows their boxing knows that this is, pound for pound, the best fight in boxing.
Is there a chance that it's so close and it's hard to call that we get a trilogy or a second fight?
No, I tell you where I think we're at here. I think there's a chance that one guy could completely outbox the other one and dominate,
And we should have gone
or the other
earlier.
guy could completely
Well, I was
pull
hinting
the
at
other.
earlier.
That's, I mean, how insane is that? You go like, Beterbiev might be just too big,
Yeah.
too good, too strong, or Bivol might just box his ears off.
I completely agree with you.
You know, that's the fascinating thing about this fight, and that is not like, oh come on Spence, anyone can say that. That is the reality of it.
Have we got a chance of that happening in Fabio Wardley against Fraser Clark though? A draw 6 months ago, an amazing fight. What's your feeling about
We've
that?
got a chance of the draw again. That
We've
is
got
fact.
we've
That
got a
is fact.
very, very guaranteed chance of a war.
One
as well.
thing I can guarantee, spoke to both guys earlier on actually. Fraser said, listen, the one thing that I've got now that I didn't have last time is experience, as in he went, I'm prepared because I think I'm going to go down again. He said, but I'm prepared this time. Where it was the shock factor last time, I'm now prepared. He said, and I can make that adaptability. He said, I can make
Adjustments.
those little adjustments.
Yeah.
And that is the difference between me and him. He went, because I know he's going to bring the same game. But Wardley's one of them guys, don't worry about the cut, that will go again. That skin that doesn't heal. Once you get, remember Brian Rose?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, once they open, they always open. But Wardley's one of those guys, one of those rare breeds that actually likes that. They take them from where they left them. I think they leave it all in the ring, and don't be surprised if you see him standing there, Rocky style, toe to toe, just slugging
Final
it out with
seconds.
absolutely nothing left.
Well, a
And that's what I said.
trilogy between them will make their names. I'm so pleased with them. Yeah, you're talking about the dog in Wardley.
Oh,
There's
the
a
dog,
deep,
man.
dogged
Yeah.
character in there who might not have the technical skills, but he's got the warrior spirit and heart.
He's got
and I
balls.
do,
He
but
will just go through fire.
you've got to congratulate them on what they did 6 months ago, and they did brilliantly to bring everything they had into the ring, sacrifice blood, sweat and tears. You know, you've been there, and then they get rewarded on the Riad season opening season cards.
Absolutely, and I'm
And they're
really
getting
pleased.
paid properly, which
I'm
is
really
brilliant.
pleased about people saying, "Oh, British title fight." I've heard numerous people saying British title fight should take place on British soil. Well, guess what? It's called prize fighting, and when you fight like that and leave it all in the ring, and effectively they're putting their lives on the line, like the way they do, let them come and have a payday, give them a break. You're going to still watch it. If you can't afford to be it, it'll be on TV. But these guys deserve the break, man. They deserve the money, because that is hard, man.
It is indeed. Dmitry Bivol out to one of my, well, our favourite bands, AC/DC. Yeah, it's beautiful. Let's take it in for a moment. Thunderstruck, of course, and there will be Thunderstruck here on Saturday night just beside us with a part of the arena home.
I knew it was going to happen.
I know, but it's
I knew
worthy.
It was going to happen. He can't help himself. He was going to go.
No.
Come on.
I'm going to behave. Last time I was dancing to ABBA while we were out here. I'm not doing this again. But for me, just to have a tiny little peek down the... How good is this guy? Could he be the pound for pound?
He's a pound for
Could
pound
he
star.
become
He's in the top
pound for
three.
pound number one if he wins this?
Yes. Absolutely.
If he outboxes Beterbiev
Absolutely. I know
and makes it a shutout.
I know there's an argument of Louis and Terence Crawford. This is the best fight in boxing right now. If he wins this fight and wins it in style, yes, he will have to go to pound for pound number one. You have to.
I love it when you're so excited that you're spitting all over me.
I know, it's going out. And the light's catching it.
Expectorating is the word. Listen, do you think we've seen a few fights of Beterbiev and Bivol with Brits? Did the Yard fight, Anthony Yard, take much out of Beterbiev in your
Oh,
view?
absolutely. He had to dig deep. But he showed that warrior's mindset, and that's the difference. where fighters can come through that adversity and turn it around. Don't lose heart, don't lose spirit. That's the difference between challengers and champions. And he's not just a champion, you get champions and you get superstars. That's where he's at. That's where he's at.
We'll come back to Bivol in a minute. A little bit of breaking news today. The IBF have ordered Agit Kabayel against Martin Bakole, the winner, to face Daniel Dubois. First of all, what do you make of that?
Great fight. Kabayel deserves his shot. He's sort of like the forgotten man, really. You know, he's been the guy that's been upsetting everyone through this whole heavyweight Super League.
Kabayel.
Yeah, Kabayel, yeah. And he deserves the break. And he's getting it against Martin Bakole, who's had great victories himself. Gerard Anderson, last time out he went out there, he delivered, done a job. So I'm pleased.
Should Anthony Joshua, and I argued the toss with Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren in the last 24 hours over this, should Anthony Joshua be taking the rematch with Daniel Dubois straight away? They're looking at February.
Yes, Anthony Joshua should be taking the rematch straight away. He's at that stage of his career. I don't want him to have too long out. I don't want him overthinking too much. I think he needs to go in there and try and right the wrongs of the last fight. You know, the game plan was wrong, tactics were wrong. He got caught with a shot. It happens in heavyweight boxing. Forget that whole rebuild thing now. He's too long in the tooth now. He needs to go in there and go straight into the immediate rematch.
Does the WhatsApp group say, your WhatsApp group say yes he should as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the general feeling, I think Anthony Joshua would love to do that as well. You know, he's at that stage of his career. You know, he's daring to be great. He wants to become a three-time world heavyweight champion. There ain't no warm-up fights, mate. Go back in there, get it done.
Because my argument was, do a Deontay Wilder fight.
Yeah,
do a Dillian White fight. Go.
He needs to. Look, listen, he's
Wait
trying
to see what happens to Fury and Usyk.
Get back in there. He needs to right the wrong with Dubois. That's where he has to go.
Because I think if Fury beats Usyk, they'll do a trilogy. Do you not agree?
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
You know, because it makes sense. It makes sense for them to do that. You know, one apiece, one was Fury, that was Fury. Of course.
Well, he's here. The legend himself, Teddy Atlas. Can I say
Did
with
you
a
have
smile?
to put a barrier between us?
Well, that's because I'm going to say with a smile, my favourite.
You don't need a barrier to me. I love you.
Pull this out of the way. Look, you can get him in here. Let him come in here.
How big is this?
You know, on my podcast the other day, I actually made a reference to that. I said this might be legitimately the fight of the century.
Yep.
In some ways.
Why is that?
I never take anything away from the first Ali Frazier, ever, at the Garden back then. Never. But I'm telling you, this fits as that kind of. You could use that sentence with this fight. Why? Because obviously they're both undefeated. They've got all the titles, and they have
Styles.
Yeah, styles conflicting, but also because they have separated themselves from the pack. They've separated them. You know, it was Ali and Frazier. Who else was there? Think about it.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
At that time.
And it was groundbreaking because it was more money than ever, $5 million.
But
And they're getting more money here and all of those ingredients.
They separate themselves from everyone close to them. So it really is a special fight.
Do you think it's fair to say, Teddy, that we rarely get a fight that comes around like this, where you go, we really do not know who's going to win this one? Is it the monster in Beterbiev? Is it the boxing masterclass that Bivol puts on? But until that first bell rings, this is very rare. You get a fight where.
Surprised by what happens weirdly.
Yeah,
there's an element of
yeah,
that
but what I'm
possibly.
saying is, where you get a fight of this magnitude, where it's a genuine 50-50, you can't split these two because of their strengths.
The best thing, to his point, when you can make an argument, a legitimate one, not one just for the camera, but, you know, blah, 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 blah. But when you can make a really legitimate, you know, intelligent argument on both sides to win, then you got to help
a special fight.
You got to, and you're right.
But I want to make that other point that we may see Bivol completely outbox Beterbiev. We may see Beterbiev batter Bivol, and we might go, oh, okay, so maybe we should have expected that. Exactly.
I get it.
But that's what we're
I
talking
don't
about. That's
think,
when you
I
get
don't
a
want
fight
that
like
to happen. I want it to
No,
go.
but that's what
I
when
want
you
it
get
to
a
go
fight like that. Where
36 rounds. I want this fight to
Both
go
got them
36
qualities.
rounds.
You
no
want to
one
go back
knows.
to Sam Langford and those guys. You want to go back to the 20s and the 30s where you had 40-round fights and those kind, which you did.
You mentioned Ali and Frazier. What did they do? They're known for their trilogy, aren't they? You know, they had to battle for the championship of each other in the end, not for the belts. And these two may end up doing that.
And you know what? Since you brought it up that way, I got to tell you, a part of it, that's just the nature of this business. They left parts of themselves in the ring those nights.
Yeah.
No, really, they were.
So
they
be
were-
careful.
I'm just saying, they left parts of themselves in the ring that night. Look, I'm gonna pick Bivol, but I'll tell you why. And it's going to be contrary to most thoughts. Yeah, he's dimensional. Yeah, he's more multi-dimensional. He has more options. He's a more polished boxer, all that. But don't sleep on Beterbiev.
No.
He's more than a seek and destroy guy.
Absolutely.
He's a guy who's buttoned up technically. He's solid technically. He knows what the hell. He's coming in behind a jab. He does little
Jumping jab,
he
There's
does
combinations
IQ there,
for
there's
all
IQ
no,
there.
day.
but he does little subtle things.
Yeah,
but when he
he
jumps
does.
in with that jab, let me tell you, a lot of guys would jump in with the jab. They would get caught on the way in. He reads your feet.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
sees
yeah,
that
yeah,
you're not
yeah,
set. He
yeah,
sees
yeah.
you going out. So he knows it's safe to jump in, and he closes the gap. He does it for a purpose. He closes the gap on you real quick, and he melts you. That
He's underestimated actually in his technical
100%.
boxing ability. People put him down as just a monster,
That's why he
but
did it with
he's
the
got
tennis ball and the
he's
hat
got that
today to show us
adaptability.
something.
He has that adaptability. He's
does
achieved
show
what he's
some
achieved because he can box as well.
No, you're right. It showed more than just the club in his hand.
Yeah.
That's
what we water him down
by
to that,
seeing
don't
that,
we?
you're seeing some technical.
what I saw.
You're seeing something
showing us
technical.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, at the end of the day, it's going to come down.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because look, the other guy, Beterbiev, he hits you anyway, he hurts you. We get that. He can go to the body, take the wheels away from Bivol, and make him stay in front. We get that. The pressure melts you, it evaporates you. All of that. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you why I'm picking Bivol. Not just because he's got quick hands, not just because he's able to control range, not just because he can set traps, not because he can fight with you, but he can also own the outside, where Beterbiev, for the most part, is going to want to own the inside. I'm picking him because I think he matches him mentally. How's that?
Yeah. There's not a chink in their armor.
No, mentally.
No, that's what I mean. There isn't a chink in their mental armor.
If we want to call the other guy, the boogeyman, I think that Bivol is a version of the boogeyman, but it's not in a way that you're used to seeing a boogeyman.
technique that keeps
you
on
look
coming.
at him, you look at him, you say, I don't know that guy. I look at, and I say, oh, that's a boogeyman.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know if the other. He is just as tough mentally because of where he comes from in the world and because of the way he's been brought up. He is just as tough mentally as Beterbiev. And if Beterbiev doesn't have the edge there, which he has in 20 fights.
We love you, Teddy. We always love working with you. I tell you why, because I'm excited. I'm tingling. We were before you came, but now we're tingling more. We're gonna let you go because I know you haven't slept yet. You've just
And
got
be
in.
careful when you turn around
But
because
next
that
time-
bar you're gonna.
next time,
I don't know
I
what your reflexes are like anymore, Teddy.
Well, the way you grabbed hold of me when I called you scruffy cousin last time, I needed a barrier and a security guard who's to your left, yeah? But I was worried. So next time we'll have you on the other side of the barrier.
Always a pleasure talking
Thank
with you.
so
Man
much,
that knows
sir.
his boxing more
I'll
than
see you all week.
more
Oh,
than
you do.
anyone.
Well,
Brilliant.
you do, but you
Thank
also
you.
excite us with your previews. That's the point, because it comes from your heart.
Listen, you could be as good as you want technically, and Bivol is as good as it comes.
Yeah.
But unless you have the mental part to make sure you could do it under stress, under
Underdog.
pressure, all that, because this guy is. I used to use this phrase. It's like looking at a puddle on a hot July day. You see a puddle, right? You go away for about a half hour. You come back. There's no puddle. You say, wait a minute. It wasn't a magical act. It got evaporated. That's what Beterbiev does. He evaporates people. I don't think Bivol gets evaporated. See you later.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Stay
What's that?
hydrated
What's that?
then, in
What's
other
that
words.
bar?
Stay hydrated, yeah? Don't get evaporated, baby.
You're always hydrated.
Teddy, God
Thanks,
bless you,
Teddy.
man. Thank you so
Cheers.
much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Brilliant. What's
Thank
that?
you.
What's that?
Great stuff from Teddy Atlas there. We love him. He's on the other side of the barrier now. I can't believe it. Great words. He's just invigorating and adding to the things we've been saying about the mental strength of both guys.
Yeah.
We've seen them work out tonight.
Yeah.
Has anything changed your mind?
No, nothing changed my mind because I don't know where my mind's at with this one, and that is the reality of it. The fight of this magnitude with two of the best boxers in the world right now, not just in the light heavyweight division, in the world, and they're both coming together Saturday night. We've all got an opinion, but none of us really know. That is the beauty of this fight.
It is the beauty of the fight, and it's the beauty of it's only Wednesday, 72 hours to go. We've got lots of content for you. Look on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. We'll be podcasting every day, guests galore. We started here with some great guests tonight. A legend in Teddy Atlas, Joe Gallagher with young boxers, Jack Massey. Thanks for watching. We will see you tomorrow.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.